storyteller is new to our stage, and boy, we're glad we have him. His name is Nestor Gomez. And I was talking to him this morning, just in passing, and asked him if there was anything that he'd like for me to say about him. And I told him I'd mention his book, certainly. The title intrigues me. Your Driver Has Arrived. I think I need to read that book about his experiences because he passes on through personal narratives. And I think you probably read about him that he is maybe an all-time moth contest winner. But anyway, when we were standing back there, I said, is there anything you'd like for me to say about you? And he said, well, they call me the boss in Chicago. Sort of, the Spanish word for voice is voz, which, you kind of combine the V's and the B's. But he said, he kind of smiled and he said, but the real boss is my wife. Smart man. So let's hear what Nestor Gomez has to say. Nestor.
That's the clave. If you ever dance salsa music, you will hear the clave at every single salsa song. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I went with my wife to celebrate my daughter's first year of life. I was just happy to be there at the Mexican restaurant where they were playing salsa music. They were playing salsa music, but nobody was dancing. Nobody but my baby daughter that was jumping up and down on her baby chair to the sound of the music. I didn't know how to dance salsa, but I can move a little bit. So I look at my daughter and I say, do you want to dance? And I pick her up in my arms and I took her to the middle of the dance floor so we could dance together. My little baby daughter had a big smile on her face, and the memory of her smile is still to this day one of the happiest memories of my life. Sadly, my wife and I did not have that many happy memories. We got married when we were way too young. I was 18 years old, she was 16 years old. And right after we got married, we had a kid, our daughter, and then we had another kid, our son. So it's not surprising that 5 years down the line, we got divorced. And my son and my daughter started to come to my house only on the weekends. There were so many things that I wanted to teach them that I did not have a chance to teach them. I barely was able to teach them enough on the weekends when they came to see me. But I tried to be there for them. So let's fast forward to my daughter's 14-year-old birthday. And she's been coming to my house for many years only on the weekends. I want to go celebrate her birthday. So we go to a restaurant, to a Mexican restaurant, and they playing salsa music. I still don't know how to dance salsa music. I can only do the basic. And I see my daughter, and I tell her, like, hey, you want to dance? And she's like, I don't know how that. So I tell her, don't worry. We can learn how to dance salsa music together. So I take her by the hand, and I take her to the middle of the dance floor so we can learn how to do the basic step for salsa music. And after the weekend, every time that my kids came over, I will go to the restaurant with my daughter to learn how to dance salsa music. But after a couple of weekends, she doesn't want to come with me anymore. And at first, I think that it's because my ex-wife found out about it. And at this point, my ex-wife is very religious. And in her religion, they don't believe on celebrating birthdays. They don't celebrate on dancing. So I asked my daughter, are you in trouble? More especially, am I in trouble? No, Dad, she said, I just don't want to go salsa dancing anymore. It took me a while to realize that the reason she didn't want to go salsa dancing is because she didn't want to go salsa dancing with her old man. She's in high school. Going dancing with her dad is just not cool. So by the time she turns 15 years old, I decided I'm going to convince her to dance salsa again. So I asked her, do you want me to throw you a big quinceañera, a big sweet 16 birthday party for your birthday? And she says, no, that's a waste of money, Dad. What I want is for you to help me buy a fancy camera for my photography class. Fancy sounds expensive. I told my daughter, don't worry, she says, my dad is gonna pay for half of it. That gets me thinking. Because when my ex-wife and I got divorced, I told my daughter, she was only 5 years old, but I told her that she was always going to be my daughter. She was always going to be the only person in the whole wide world that I could call my daughter, and I was always going to be her dad, the only person she could call dad. But now I realize she's calling her stepdad dad. And that hurt. That hurt so badly that I got into an argument with my daughter that turned into a huge argument with my ex-wife when I drove my daughter home. So a couple of months later, I'm surprised when my daughter gives me an invitation for a Sweet 16 for a friend of hers. So I asked her if she is no longer mad at me. And she said, I'm still a little bit upset for the big argument, but I wanted you to come to this celebration because my friends and I, we put a little salsa number together, and since you were kind of teaching me a little bit, I want you to see it. But Dad, she says, don't cause any drama. Don't make any trouble. I'm like, I'm not causing any drama. I never make any trouble. She's like, Dad, please. So a couple of weeks later, I go to the Sweet 15, and I see my daughter, who's always a tomboy. She's always wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And now she's wearing a dress. She's wearing high heels. She's wearing makeup. I just look at her and a tear starts rolling down my face. I'm so happy. And then the celebration starts, and I see the kids doing the salsa steps, and my daughter is dancing with her partner, and then suddenly the music keeps going, but the kids are not dancing anymore. I see the boys going to the tables, and they go to talk to their moms. And I see the girls going to the tables to talk to their dads. And the boys are bringing the mothers back to the dance floor. And the girls are bringing the dads back to the dance floor. And my daughter, she's talking to her stepdad. And then I realized, that's why she told me, don't make any drama. That's why she told me not to cause any trouble. And I want to scream, and I want to fight, and I want to make my daughter happy. So I don't say anything, and I just look down the floor, and I start crying, because my daughter is supposed to be dancing with me, not with her stepdad, and then I hear, do you want to dance? And my daughter takes my hand and takes me to the middle of the dance floor so I could dance with her. Because you see, she wasn't asking her stepdad to dance with her. She was explaining that she was going to ask me to dance, and she didn't want him to be her. And I know that I should have danced a little bit of the song with my daughter and then told her to go get her stepdad, but I didn't do that. I mean, can you blame me? Because to me, in my heart, I was dancing with my little baby daughter, who to me, only a few moments ago, was a little baby dancing in my arms. Celebrations are so important to my family. So I'm going to the gay parade in Chicago for the first time in my life because I want to celebrate with the community. I want to go to the pride parade, but I'm running late because I'm always running late for everything. And I'm on my way, and I'm driving because I'm running late, and then I get a text from my mother, and she wants me to come to her house. It's an emergency. Oh, I'm going to be even later. So I drive to my mom's house because I had to go to my mom's house. It's an emergency. And I get to my mom's house, and my mom tells me, I'm making a barbecue. I need you to go get some ice. I'm like, Mom, that was the emergency? And she says, I need ice for the barbecue, for the drinks, for the beer. I need you to go to the store to get ice. I'm like, Mom, I don't have time to come to your barbecue or go to the store to get ice. I'm going to the Pride Parade. Oh, con los maricones, she says. Now, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, that is not a very good way to speak about the gay community. It's a slur in Spanish. You don't say those words. So I get mad at my mom, and I say, Mom, didn't I tell you not to use those kind of words anymore? You will never learn. Don't you remember your sister? And I say that, and I walk away. Because I might be 50 years old, but my mom will still slap me. And I walk away from my mom, and she keeps saying something, and I don't listen to her anymore because I need to get to the Pride Parade. I get in my car, and I'm thinking about my aunt, my mother's sister, who at age 15 ran away from home. And in order to make a living in Guatemala, she became a prostitute. She started to do that. And after a couple of years, she came back to the house, and my mother told her sister that it was okay for her to come back to the house, but my mother wanted her sister to have a relationship with somebody so the people in the neighborhood wouldn't talk badly about my aunt. So a couple of days later, my aunt brings with her partner, and my mom will have none of it because her partner was another woman. My mother stood by my sister, grabbing my sister by the hand. Her lover stood on the door, and my mom made my aunt choose between the house or her lover. So her lover left. And I went to school, and on my way back from school, I saw my aunt throwing away all the items that her lover had left behind, throwing them in the garbage. And I went to my mom, and I asked her, like, didn't you want your sister to come with her partner? And she did, and and she's like, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? No, with another woman? What are the neighbors going to say about our family? And I thought about that for a moment. My father and my uncles were drunks. Two of my aunts were prostitutes. One of my uncles was a thief. He was in jail. The neighbors were already talking a lot of shit about our family. But I didn't say anything to my mom. I just saw my aunt throwing the stuff away that her lover left behind. My aunt, who eventually did marry a man who mistreated her, a man who never loved her or respected her, a man who drunk one night cut my wife's face with a machete. My aunt, who was never happy. I'm thinking about my aunt, but mostly on my way to the Pride Parade, I'm thinking about my son. My 15-year-old son, who, as a birthday present to himself, has decided to come out of the closet. But he didn't come out of the closet shyly. No, he kicked the door open. He sent a Facebook message, an email, and text messages to family and friends. I am gay, the message read. And in high school, his friends saw the message, and his friends called him, and his friends say, girl, we know. And I also know, because he's my son, because I have seen him grow up, because I know who he is, and damn, I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of how fearless he is. I'm so proud of the fact that he's so proud of himself, so sure of himself, but I'm also afraid. I'm extremely afraid because as a Latino, I know that there's people that don't like me out there. And I know that him, as a Latino gay, is going to have more people that are not going to like him. Some people that are going to discriminate against him. Some people who are not going to love him. Some people maybe among my own family. Maybe my own mother. So I'm going to the Pride Parade to show my support to my son. I'm going to the Pride Parade for the first time, but I'm going there late. And I'm driving. And I don't know if you've been to Chicago during the Pride Parade. You can't drive there. But I'm late, so I need to drive, and I'm looking for a parking space, and I'm driving around, and I'm driving around, and I'm driving around. And hours later, I found a parking space, and I get out of my car, and people are coming back from the Pride Parade. I'm late. So I sit on my car, and I check my phone, and I have a bunch of text messages from my mom. I got the ice. The tacos are ready. Come get some tacos. Now, I'm still really mad at my mom, but I'm also really hungry. But these are really good tacos. My favorite kind of tacos, free tacos. So I drive to my mom's house, and I park, and I get in her house, and as soon as I get into the yard, my mom is waiting for me, and she says, listen, you smart ass. I love my sister. I love my sister so much, but back in Guatemala, gay people were being persecuted. Some gay people were being killed. I didn't want that to happen to her. I didn't know how else to protect her. Fine, I say. And what about those hateful words that you still use? I'm trying to learn, she says. I'm trying to be better. And what about my son? Do you know that he's gay? And she looks at me and says, of course I know, I'm on Facebook. And then without another word, she points at the back of her yard. And there, on a table, underneath a big rainbow flag, I see my son with his friends. And they celebrating Pride Parade. They celebrating Pride Day. And my son looks at me and says, come get some tacos. And I get to the table and I get some delicious tacos. And we celebrate, and we listen to music, and we try to dance, because I still don't know how to dance salsa, but we dance in cumbia because I love dancing cumbia. I love dancing cumbia so much that every weekend I go cumbia dancing to the Mexican clubs. And in one of these Mexican clubs, I meet the woman who will become my second wife. I meet her cumbia dancing. So we go cumbia dancing because that's how we fell in love. And when I say we go cumbia dancing, I mean we go cumbia dancing. We get to the nightclub at 11 o'clock before they charge you on Friday night, and we don't get out until 5 o'clock in the morning. Saturday night, we get there at 11 o'clock before they charge you, and don't get out of there until 5 o'clock in the morning. And then Sunday night, we get there before 11 o'clock, and we don't get out of there until they close, and we go straight to work. We are clubbing hard. For 5 years, when we go out, we go cumbia dancing, cumbia dancing, cumbia dancing. For 5 years, until I learned that she's been cheating, sleeping with my best friend. And now I don't want to go cumbia dancing anymore. Because the music, the places, the people remind me of my cheating ex-wife. I need to purge my mind, my soul, my memory of her memory. But I love dancing. So I decided instead of cumbia dancing, I'm going to go salsa dancing. And I know you're probably thinking cumbia dancing, salsa dancing, merengue, bachata, isn't it all the same? No. Let me explain it to you in a way that you can understand. Let me say that you play football your whole life. And then you start going to college and you decide, I'm going to play soccer instead. It's still a sport. You still use a ball. But the rules, the field, and the people watching are completely different. But I think to myself, I'm a Latino. This music is in my veins. How hard can it be? I know the basic step anyway. So I start going to the salsa club where they don't charge you for the lesson because I'm cheap. And I go to the salsa club, and my first night at the salsa club, I meet a white girl there that is trying to learn salsa. I'm looking at her and kind of making fun of her. And she's trying to learn. I'm trying to learn because I want to forget my cheating ex-wife. She's trying to learn because her boyfriend is an amazing dancer who doesn't like salsa dancing with her because she doesn't know how to dance. So she's trying to learn, and we keep going to the salsa clubs, and I'm not learning anything, and months, and I just barely know how to do the basic. And then 6 months down the line, my friend, the white girl, comes over, and she's dancing. And she's dancing. I look at her, I'm like, damn, girl. Did your boyfriend taught you all those sexy moves that you're doing? And she's like, no. The jerk never wants to teach me anything. I started going to a salsa school. I'm like, salsa school is expensive. So I keep going to the salsa clubs, and after a couple of months, I decide I gotta go to the salsa school because I'm not learning anything. And there, I meet a bunch of people, and I meet a Mexican ballerina that is in Chicago because she wants to meet people, she wants to learn to speak English, and she wants to learn the way that we do salsa in Chicago. So she's there, and I become friends with her. And then after a couple of weeks, they decide on the salsa school to do a salsa contest. So I told the ballerina, we should enter the contest together. And she said, yeah, we should. I was just joking. But now I got to put a dance together with her because she wants to do it. So we start going to her house, and we put this number together, and we had some really complicated turns, and we have some sexy moves, and we have a lip like on the movie Dirty Dancing. We put the choreography together, and the day of the contest, we told all our friends from the school, and that white girl, and all my friends are coming over to see us dance. And the night of the contest, we are there, and my friend, the white girl, is there, and then she sees me, and she's like, I gotta go. I'm like, why? And she's like, because the jerk is here. The jerk is now her ex-boyfriend, because he broke up with her because she doesn't know how to dance. And I tell her, don't go anywhere, because me and the ballerina are going to kick his ass on the dance floor. Don't go anywhere. The music starts, and me and the ballerina start dancing. I look over, and the jerk is not dancing because his partner is late. Me and the ballerina are dancing, and suddenly, I forget everything. I know. I just freeze, and I stay there. I just stand there, looking around, and the ballerina is dancing around me. Muévete! Muévete! Just move, Tomás! Just move! So I pretend to be dancing. But the ballerina dances around me very sexy, and then the music keeps going. I look over, and the jerk is dancing, and he's so good. He is the best. The music ends, and I'm like, we lost. I messed up. I forgot everything. We lost. I go to the bar, and I'm thirsty for dancing, so I order a Long Island iced tea. I'm still thirsty, so I ordered a second one. And the second one tasted good, but the third one tasted better. We lost anyway. And then I hear them calling my name back to the dance floor. I go back to the dance floor, and maybe because I drank 3 Long Island iced teas, or maybe because I thought we lost, I start dancing, and I don't forget anything. I do the complicated turns, I do the sexy moves, I do the lift with one hand. And in the end, we get second place. And the best part is that the jerk did not even play because he started dancing late. So I go to my friend and I say, "Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that?" And she says, "Yeah, you got second place." I'm like, "No, forget that. We beat the jerk. We beat the jerk." And then because I'm so happy and I've been dancing and I had 3 Long Island iced teas, before I can know, I tell her, "I love you." And she looks at me for a long time. And then finally she says, "I love you too." I had not seen the jerk or my ex at any nightclub for a long time. The friends that I made at the dance school are still my friends to this day. The ballerina became an amazing dance instructor in Chicago. And me and my friend, we still go dancing together. And we dance with other people because that's how you do it on the dance community. But we always dance the first song of the night together. It's very important to us. So important that it became part of our wedding vows when we got married a couple of years ago. Thank you.